Hello everyone. So today we are going to be looking at Roman gladiators, okay, in more detail. We've looked at Roman slaves and the sources and roads. So this is the last lesson on Romans. So the learning outcome for today is I can produce a report of a gladiator battle. So here's some examples of Roman gladiators fighting. Okay, so here is a primary source that's made in stone, sort of seen as very, very important people. Also here it's a Roman painting of gladiators fighting. So they were seen as very entertaining, very important people. So where would a gladiator battle take place? So arenas or the Colosseum. So what other things did Romans do for entertainment? So they used to fight up in these big buildings. Think of them as today, big stadiums where you watch football, rugby, crickets, any sport actually. Okay, so where you watch any sport today. So gladiator fighting was a sport where people died, basically. Okay, so what other things did Romans do for entertainment? So wild animal shows, wild beast shows, and chariot races. So these were chariot races in the Colosseum. So they used to go around in circle and have races. These were very dangerous as well because they usually had 4 horses up front and a small carriage. So it used to be very dangerous when they're turning corners and stuff. So gladiators normally criminals, capture prisoners or slaves trained to fight each other. However, they were sometimes volunteers. They volunteered to fight as gladiators because if they won, they got a lot of money and they became famous, like famous people today. You name a couple of famous people in your sports today. So these became very famous people by the crowds of Rome and all over Europe because they used to have arenas or colosseums all over Europe where they watched gladiators fighting. What would happen at a gladiator fight? So the gladiators fought to entertain the emperor. This here is the emperor with this wreath on his head. If a gladiator was wounded, he raised a finger, asking for mercy. So this gladiator is wounded, another gladiator standing over him. He's asking for mercy here. He's pull a finger and say mercy to the emperor. If his fighting pleased the crowds and the emperor, he would be spared. His life would be spared. If not, then his opponent would kill him. So it's up to the crowd. If there was a thumb down, this man would have to kill him. Okay? Were all gladiators the same? No. So examples of female gladiators. So this was made illegal in 200 AD. Remember the timeline I did at the start? So this was 200 AD. Okay? So gladiator women used to fight, but this was made illegal in 200 AD. Different types of gladiators. So gladiators have different techniques of fighting, different fighting weapons. They evolve, sort of different fighting techniques evolves from types of combats that Romans met among peoples whom they fought and conquered. So when Rome went to a new place and fought new enemies, they fought in different ways. So they used to capture them people as slaves and bring them back and then train them as gladiators. So you can see all the armor, different kinds of armor, different weapons, axes, fork, trident. Okay, so different armor used, different parts of the body, heavy armor, light armor. There's all different techniques of fighting. So these are some examples of the weapons and armor they use. So spears, knives, swords, shields, helmets, and armor. Okay, and also a net was very effective. So this was a murmillo. Okay, you can see how we had a big shield, swords, a helmet, and protection on his left foot. The murmillo was a heavyweight, very biggest, carrying a large oblong shield. Here. He protected his left foot from his shields and his opponent. He has a helmet with a fin on it, as this is where his name originated. Okay. So the Gladiators was the most vulnerable fighter. You can see he doesn't have much armor compared to the Murillo. He only had a shoulder guard. Here's the shoulder guard to protect him. He carried a net to try and whip and trip his opponent. So if he tripped him up, his opponent, he would use a trident or a dagger to attack. So this is a trident, or a small little knife or dagger to attack. So Gladiators. Hoplomachus. You can see this Hoplomachus had a lot of weaponry and protection. He carried a small round shield, a spear to thrust or attack his opponent. His upper legs were heavily guarded. He had tall crescent shapes on his helmet, so this was crescent shaped helmets. Okay, so these fighters probably originated from all over Europe that Romans attacked from. They also brought wild animals, so they conquered lots of Northern Europe, Northern Africa, where there's a lot of different types of animals: bears, elephants, tigers, leopards, lions. So all these animals were brought to Rome, and slaves or gladiators had to attack them, or had to defend themselves against the animals. So here's some examples of fighting. So here's with the nets, the shields, the helmets, the small swords. So you can see them fighting wild animals like bulls, tigers. Okay, this is very dangerous. You see again here probably is an emperor. So they're here to entertain the crowd and the emperor. Okay? Again, here's remember we did primary sources. This is a primary source of the gladiators fighting. So they're seen as very important people. Not a gladiator fight. The gladiators would fight to entertain the emperor and the crowds. If a gladiator was wounded, he raised a finger, asked for mercy. So if he got hurt, he would raise a finger and say, mercy. If his fighting pleased the crowd and the emperor, he would be spared. Let him go. Look, they're all happy. Let him go. He was a good fighter. If the crowd and the emperor were not pleased, his opponent would kill him. Said, let him die. So put his thumb down. So for your task today, guys, I want you to write a script or what's it called? Yeah, write a radio commentary. Pretend you're commenting on the fights. For example, welcome to the Colosseum. We are joined with thousands of people here in this spectacle. Two gladiators hail from Gaul, which was in France, and Britannia, Britain. The first fighter is Murmillo. Then you can continue on with this. Again, you start with this and continue on. The second fighter is Hoplomachus. Okay. These are two great fighters, and they go at it, and it's on. The bell rings, and it's on. Okay. So I want you to try that, okay? So beside the type of gladiator, same gladiator. Describe their weapons, commented on it like blow by blow. So the Murillo thrusts his spear towards the Hoplomachus, but the Hoplomachus dodges it and he misses. Okay? Explain the outcome, what happens. Does he get mercy from the crowds? Does he kill the Murillo? Okay? So whatever you want, guys. What was the emperor's decision? So at the end of the day, it is up to the emperor if the slave or gladiator died or was spared. Is there such scenes today in sport? So gladiators fought to the death. Maybe not really in sports today, to the death. But you see some brutal things happening in sport, like boxing or MMA. It's MMA. Okay? So you see the spectacle, people watching the sport of people hitting, of violence, basically, in the ring. But think of this as the Colosseum, all looking at this spectacle in the cage or in the arena. Okay? So people can get seriously hurt in here. So do you think it's the same? I'll let you guys decide that. Okay, guys, that's the last lesson of the Romans. I hope you enjoyed the Romans and learned something from it. Bye.